So I'm talking with Chris Sully, the Managing Director of Manx Radio. It's literally the day after everything's been sorted in Tynwald. I have to say, you're one of the most hard person to get hold of interviews. I think since January, when you were first announced to get the job, and for whatever reasons, it hasn't happened. And I probably accept that it's easier to do the chat now, once the dust has settled.
Yeah.
Because everything was speculation up to then. So here we are, we got you. Well, obviously, you must be delighted. You got, what, £95,000, is it, on top?
Increase in subvention, yeah.
That's what you want. You got what you wanted.
Absolutely. We were asked. I was working in Germany when the original Tynwald request to provide a sustainable funding plan for the station was requested by Tynwald, and a report for us to do that and to show you some changes on the station. So I arrived here in April. I had to give some notice at my old job at BFBS. Came here mid-April. And that's been the focus of my attention since then, and it's been a roller coaster. But yeah, I'm happy. I believe we are now in a position where we have a sustainable, ongoing, honest plan.
Mm-hmm. And you're staying here at Douglas Head, of course. That was another big thing. Should you move or stay?
So in the report we said that we are open to a move if somewhere becomes available that's right. There did seem to be a bit of a bum fight between locations. It was being suggested the grandstand and the sea ferry terminal.
2-something million or something to move, but it seemed very high. I don't know.
Because of the infrastructure, because it's not just us, there's also the emergency services equipment, which is located here, and everything else. And it's, yes, you can move a jukebox music radio station fairly cheaply to a location, but when you've got news teams and the other infrastructure that you need to run a PSB, then yeah, it doesn't.
So what would you get? Will you get this big lift shaft and the green room and everything that was on that original plan now? Would that be the big building?
My main thrust, all of that is still to come.
Okay.
My main thrust now will be to make sure that we work with our shareholder, which is Treasury, to deliver. I'm very aware, one of the things that concerns me most about this building, great though it is, and people always go about the fabulous view. Do you know what? If I had £1 for every time I've looked out the window, I'd probably have about a tenner. and that's an exaggeration. But it's not only that, but you're busy. It's a job. Yeah. The best thing about being here in terms of that is, when you grab 10 minutes to walk away from your computer, yeah, I love go out and walking around Douglas Head, looking at the lighthouse, come back, you're refreshed, you're in a different space. The worst thing, I can't just walk out and get a sandwich. It is a walk into town or a drive into town.
And that's been an argument that you are remote, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that, and I completely hear that. But we've moved towards sort of solving the car parking space issue, which has been an issue from your day. So we've made a bit of progress on that.
What will the extra money go to? Let's try that one first now.
Sure.
I mean, is that dedicated to just you having a few extra people? I mean, you've expanded your broadcast hours recently.
We have, yes.
Is that covering that, for instance?
Which some of it is that. Some of it is redressing some traditional problems. So we had a problem here with what we were paying our journalists, and we've got people with degrees and lots of experience being paid less than they would potentially earn doing less skilled jobs.
So interesting to say that, because there's a feeling out there that other people maybe get more money than they'd get in the private sector in radio. Do you accept that? There's some are higher, but maybe taking away the news is lower. Are you paying the going rate, or are you overpaying to some degree the going rate?
I think I understand your question. You can argue that until you're blue in the face. People will get paid what the talent pool and the market allows. If you're talking about the management, if you're talking about me, I'm on the same salary I was on at BFBS. So I didn't come here for the money. I came here for a challenge. It's been one of those.
But there's been the thing that there's too much management. I mean, that's not. It came up clearly. There's a lot of management for people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And interestingly, in Kerry Sharp's proposal, which I'm sure you're going to come on to, was a suggestion basically for putting an extra layer of management in, which just seemed to be completely contradictory. Why would you? We're accused of having too much management, and then let's put some more in. Well, one or the other. Do I think there's too much management? No, I don't. I think the balance is now right. If you look at what we've done with the new schedule, the management, the day-to-day management of this station is me as the managing director, John in our business department, Alex from programming point of view, but Alex is also on air, John is also selling, and now we've got the report out of the way. One of the things I want to do, Paul, and we've spoken about this in the times we have met, and you've seen me at various events working for Manx Radio, is to roll up the sleeves and do the job, because I don't want to just be stuck in an office. That's not the job to me. I want to get out and be with the team and contribute to what we do.
We've got this thing that you brought in a consultant when there was a few raised eyebrows to do these changes. I mean, could you not do them?
Okay, right. Correct you there. That's yeah. Okay.
Because no one knows, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had this big announcement.
Yeah, sure.
Or we saw it online that a consultant had come in.
Well, I think it kind of broke on social media, as these things often do now, which is why you need a PSB. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. There is a chap called John Dash from John Dash Media, who I'd worked with at BFBS and who has a brilliant programme, basically training the trainer. And when I got here, I identified one of the things when I looked through the exit reports, the exit interviews for people who'd left over the past few years. One of the things that came up consistently, other than money, and you're always going to have that one, was the lack of training. And I think it's it's a government recognised thing on the Isle of Man, as it is elsewhere.
The BBC was giving training here.
The BBC give us some training,
yeah,
absolutely, but it's limited.
Okay.
And the opportunity to take John's training, which is training the trainer, in other words, to make our staff self-sufficient.
So he was training, he wasn't here doing schedules, yes?
No, he was absolutely... He gave us some advice. Listen, we sat down, had a coffee, and we talked a little bit and went, hey, what do you reckon about this? If you've got a very experienced person in any industry, you're not going to go, listen, you're here to do some training, tell us about the output. So we absolutely did talk to him.
For the people who are angry or happy with the changes, where's the buck stop? With you? Brinley? Where?
Ultimately with me. Alex says... I sat down with Alex when I got here and I said, I want you to make this station what it needs to be to better serve the people of the Isle of Man, to give them it's a community station. Do you know what? We can talk about PSBs, PSMs, whatever, public service media, public service broadcaster. Ultimately, it's a community station, and that's what I want it to be. That's what we did with BFBS. That's what I want this place to be. If you look at the report, we're talking about lots of engagement in terms of training opportunities, hosting podcasts, that kind of thing. But also there's a section in there about advisory meetings. And I believe that passionately. We did it at BFBS, and if we can do it with Scotties who don't hold back from telling you what they think, I'm happy to engage with people in that way. What we'll do is we'll go to various areas across the island. It might be a pub, it might be a community centre. We'll go at a time that suits people rather than mid-afternoon when people are working and picking up kids from school, whatever. And we want people to come and tell us, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, and the people, I'll be honest, and if you're watching this, we get the people who vent opinions quite rightly on social media and things. Come and talk to me. My door is open. I want to talk to you. I want to hear what your opinions are. And maybe sometimes it's a misconception. You just spoke there about John Dash and the training and the perception that this was about him coming over telling us how to run the new schedule. It wasn't. Hey, listen, we can have a coffee.
Okay, much more to talk about. Part 2.